Hi. Hola.
Hi, here's Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the women's Nike Magista Obra in the Radiant Reveal Pack colorway. Now included with the shoes is of course a string bag. The string bag is red in color with orange strings and white Nike branding on either side. And then of course you get the shoes themselves. Now of course this is a women's variation of the Magista Obra, which means it's going to have a unique colorway that is exclusive to the women's lineup, and the sizing is going to be a little bit different. With that said, those are the only two differences when compared to the men's variation. It doesn't have women's fit, it doesn't have a women's shape. The shape of the shoe is no different than the men's version. The only thing that changes, like I said, is the color and the sizing. So if you are a guy and you're interested in wearing these, it is entirely possible as long as you do a very simple sizing conversion that I'm going to explain in today's video. So if you're interested in learning more about the women's Radiant Reveal Nike Magista Obra, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk about the fit and sizing, being that this is a women's variation of the Magista Obra. Now, as you guys can see, I'm wearing the shoes. I normally wear a men's size 9.5 US in the Magista Obra for the proper fit. Now with Nike, the way the sizing conversion works between women's and men's shoes, it's simply a conversion. There's no difference in the fit. Women's fit is just not a thing anymore with Nike. So if you do want to wear a women's shoe from Nike, all you have to do is take your men's size in that particular model and go up 1.5 sizes. So like I said, I normally wear a men's size 9.5 US in the men's Magista Obra, and in the women's pair that I have right here, I went up 1.5 sizes to a women's 11 US, and the fit in the length is absolutely identical. And again, it's not a different fit, it's not a different shape, it's just a different sizing method. So as long as you go up 1.5 sizes from your men's size, you're gonna have the exact same fit. So like I said, I went from a 9.5 US men's to an 11 US women's here in the Magista Obra, and the fit and length is absolutely identical. The overall shape of the shoe is identical, and the fit and feel on feet is identical. So again, one last time, sorry to repeat myself so many times, if you want to go from a men's to a women's shoe for Nike, all you have to do is go up 1.5 sizes from your men's size to have the correct and equivalent size in a women's shoe. So aside from the sizing difference, the way these things fit and feel on feet, like I said, is just like a regular pair of Obras. It's a snug fitting shoe. I don't want to say it's tight or narrow by any means, but it definitely does have a nice snug wrap across your entire foot, which is really nice. Not a lot of extra dead space inside the shoe. The upper is soft, it's flexible, a little bit of stiffness from the sole plate at first, but that's something that does become more flexible over time. And the overall feel of the shoe is that of kind of a sock. It's the best way to describe it, especially once it's broken in. The heel area is the one aspect of all the mid-cut models from Nike that's going to give you a bit of trouble at first. It feels a little bit stiff and just wraps your heel in a different way that a low-cut shoe just wouldn't. So it's important that you kind of take your time with the break-in process. Don't wear them straight into a game. Don't wear them straight into a free kick session. Just take things really slow. If you feel discomfort, take them off and just kind of repeat that process until you feel comfortable wearing them for 2-3 hours at a time without any kind of issues. As far as width is concerned, again, it's a women's fit version, but it isn't actually women's fit. It's the exact same width as the men's version, and width-wise, the Obra is going to be suitable for most foot types. Are they super wide? No, but they will fit most people. The one thing to note, though, as well, is that they aren't really going to stretch. You have those Brio cables through the midfoot that just aren't going to give. So for the most part, the way these fit out of the box is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. As far as the laces go, on my left foot, as you guys can see, I have the stock orange laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot I have a pair of white reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website, down below in the description of this video. As far as tech specs go, like I mentioned, and sorry to repeat myself so many times in one video, but I'm kind of famous for that, there is no difference between this version of the shoe and the men's version of the shoe. The tech specs, the construction is absolutely identical. So just like a regular Obra, this shoe does feature a Flyknit upper with Brio cable supports, and of course the mid-cut dynamic fit collar. So standard Magista Obra layout as far as the Flyknit construction goes, has this kind of interesting kind of honeycomb pattern, I guess is the best way to describe it. Some decent texturing to the touch, but that's not necessarily something that you notice when making contact with the ball. Good structure to it. It's a very dense Flyknit pattern, and then you do have a padded liner on top, which does give this shoe a thin but slightly padded touch on the ball overall. Then of course you do have the Brio cables that run within the actual pattern directly into the lacing system, down into the base of the sole. So when you pull the laces tight, it pulls on those cables as well as the rest of the upper, keeps your foot locked in place really nicely. The upper is covered in Nike skin, and then of course features Nike's ACC All Conditions Control, which acts as its wet control element. Not a major feature, but something they do include on all their top end models. The laces, as you guys can see, are pushed slightly to the medial side of the shoe. Moving on to the rear, you're going to of course have the mid-cut dynamic fit collar, which a lot of people seem to think is some kind of an ankle support. It isn't. There's no structure to this. It's basically just an elasticated sock. Same thing goes across the top of the foot. It's elasticated as opposed to structured like the rest of the upper. So it's basically just an extension piece that does change up the fit of the shoe in the heel, something we did talk about earlier in the video. But nonetheless, it does, like I said, offer a slightly different feel, but that's about it. It looks different, of course, but there's no performance benefit to the shoe being mid-cut. That goes for the Obra and really any of the mid-cut models from Nike. It's just something that's a little bit different, but not better by any means when compared to a standard low-cut shoe. Inside, you do have a smooth synthetic leather heel liner with a fairly minimal amount of padding, all things considered. The insole fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that, as long as I can get it out of the shoe, which I'm struggling with, but you got it right here. Again, same insole you'd normally find in an Obra, mesh liner on top, perforations throughout, and it's just made from a single layer of this yellow foam. Nothing fancy, but it does get the job done. You have an external heel counter with the Magista Obra, and then of course the glass nylon sole plate that is a decent stiffness, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not overly stiff, and it is something that does break in quite nicely after a few hours of wear time. So if it feels a little bit firm at first, like I said, just give it a few plays and you will find that it does soften up quite a bit and just feels normal after that. And then of course you get the Magista stud pattern, which is basically what you get from the Tiempo line, but instead of bladed studs in the heel, it's conical studs. All conical studs in the forefoot as well. Pretty traditional stud shape, but the actual layout is pretty good, and the overall grip that it provides on firm natural grass, being that this is a firm ground stud pattern, is pretty good too. Nobody really complains about the traction provided from the Magista line in general, so if you're not too picky about that kind of thing, you're unlikely to have any problems with the stud pattern on the Magista Obra. So that's pretty much it as far as the base tech specs that you should know about the Obra. Again, if you're looking for more details, I'll leave an annotation on screen to my playtest video. You can see the shoes in action. So go ahead and watch that if you haven't already. And with that being said, let's move on to a quick weigh-in so we can see how lightweight these guys are. As far as weight is concerned, I thought we'd weigh the men's Magista Obra as well as the women's Magista Obra side by side, just so you guys can see that there really isn't any difference between the two. So these are both in brand new condition, and they're equivalent sizes. So this is a men's 9.5 US, this is a women's 11, which, like I mentioned at the start of the video, is the exact same size. All you have to do is go 1.5 sizes up from your men's size to have the equivalent women's shoe, at least when you're talking about Nike. So we're gonna start off with the men's variation, throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.2 ounces, the equivalent of 205 grams. Remember those numbers. Take these off the scale and we'll throw on the women's variation, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.4 ounces, the equivalent of 210 grams. So a very slight variation. You're gonna find that when going from shoe to shoe, colorway to colorway. Is it actually heavier? No, it's just, like I said, kind of a manufacturing variation of 5 grams, which is not anything that you're gonna notice either in hand or on feet. So again, women's, men's, it really doesn't matter. It's the same construction, it's the exact same shoe, it's the exact same weight. It's just a matter of getting the colorway that you like the best. And if that happens to be a women's colorway, even if you're a guy, There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And again, if you want a fairly lightweight feel from your shoes, the Obra will provide that as well. As far as aesthetics go, this is actually a really nice colorway of the Nike Magista Obra. Now, this is, of course, a women's colorway, part of the Women's Radiant Reveal Pack. The Men's Radiant Reveal Pack was a white base with the neon yellow, pink, as well as orange accent colors, where this shoe, as you guys can see, is pretty much like a solid reddish, orangish pink color. Now online, it looks like it's almost one solid color, but in person and hopefully in this video, you can see that there is somewhat of a fade effect happening. You have your solid ring of what's kind of like a matte orangish red going all the way around the outside, but you can see that across the top, it starts off as this kind of pinkish red, and then it starts to fade to a slightly lighter color, eventually to more of an orange, where it actually goes to translucent Nike skin as opposed to fully colored Nike skin like you find closer to the toe. And then of course the exposed Flyknit is a combination of white and orange, which actually looks really, really good. You have the matching orange in the laces as well. Solid white Nike swoosh on both sides of the shoe that looks really cool. Nice accent color. The white ring at the top of the collar, the white Magista branding at the back of the collar, and then the sole plate, as you guys can see, is orange with some red within the actual studs and the little pattern within the sole plate itself. So overall, it's very, very bright, very different. Is it girly? I don't know. That's kind of something you have to judge for yourself. We've had men's colorways that are full-blown pink, so I'm not sure that anything is really off limits if you're a guy and you want to wear these. For me, I like them. If you like bright colors and you like the Magista Obra, this is definitely one of those colorways that's going to stand out for you. And I think if you're a fan of orange, red, and pink in general, it's just a really nice looking shoe. Is it something that I would personally like to wear? No, I'm not really into super flashy colorways personally, but if you like flashy, these will definitely do that for you. So let me know what you guys think about these down below in the comment section. Do you like how they look? Why or why not? And with that being said, I'll leave you to my final thoughts. Alright guys, that is it for my review of the women's Nike Magista Obra in the Radiant Reveal Pack colorway. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $275 retail price. And you'll also find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. So again, if you're interested in more info, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding this particular shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.